Hello everyone, here on my blog here at TonyStewartBlog.com. Wanting to do more of these kind of video conversations with you guys, and I know there's a lot of pastors who are here on this blog who are interested in technology and media and innovation and just ministry online. And I just want to share a story with you guys from we do online experiences at LifeChurch.tv with Church Online, and around it we have live prayer where people can come and connect to us in prayer and just offer up stuff. And what's really cool about the web and the live prayer ministry, just a side note, is the willingness people are to come and confess and to be much more transparent than they ever would with people who they're with face to face. And whether you think that's good or bad, I think that God uses it tremendously in people's lives. And tonight, man, I had a chance to pray with and talk and have a conversation with a senior pastor who has struggled with lust. He said not pornography, but with lust for 25 years. And he felt alone in it. He felt trapped in it. His greatest fear was being judged. And you know what? I mean, every pastor has felt alone like that. Or non-pastor. Many of us, when we have something that has us trapped like that, especially the sexual stuff, the lust stuff, man, you can feel trapped, you can feel alone. But what I've learned from my own history with that back in college, and from any of us that have felt trapped by something, man, when that fear of being judged, that fear of someone finding out, when you're keeping something secret, a lot of us, especially pastors, carry that kind of like that loneliness like it's a mantle. That loneliness like it's something that comes with the job. Like it's we're supposed to be alone. We're supposed to suffer with our sin, and that someday we'll beat it. We're the pastor. We have spiritual understanding. If we just know more, give it more time, we'll beat it. This guy's been struggling for 25 years. And I don't know his whole history, his whole past. But man, nobody can go it alone. Nobody can go it alone. And it's only pride that keeps you from reaching out to somebody. It's only pride that lets you preach every week about the power of God and then not believe that it's powerful enough to heal you. That God's goodness isn't good enough to extend to you, to trust somebody to talk to. That you don't need to confess, that you don't need to go through that same process you prescribe, and that grace won't apply to you with other people. And man, you know what? People are people. They're going to respond the way they respond. But your own walk with God, I mean, your own walk with God, your own family is so much more important than what other people think. It's so much more important than keeping up an appearance that you know isn't true. I mean, think about the leaders and people you most look up to. Is it the ones that look the best, or the ones that you know, when you're around them, you know are good? You know their issues. You love them anyways. They know their issues and are okay with them because they've been willing to confess. Man, isn't there a freedom there? And that's what I was trying to talk with this pastor about. Isn't there a freedom there that just you yearn for, that you want so badly? And we all agree that it is. And yet pride keeps us from finding that person to trust in. Pride keeps us from taking the risk of admitting it and having that conversation. And it is pride. It's not the position. It's not the call. It's pride that lets us use it as an excuse to not confess, to not step out. And I understand that it could be your career, that it is what you do. But are you good at what you do if you don't believe in the power of God in your own life? You know, and I know that you can believe and that there's this tension, and it's easy to make things black and white. Like if it's this, then it's this. I know that life is way more organic than that. But that's just after praying with this guy and hearing his struggles and knowing my own history, knowing so many of the pastors, that pastors all the time say their number one thing that they deal with is loneliness. They don't feel there's anyone they can trust or have a conversation with. And it is different being in a church and being the pastor. But it does not mean you need to be alone or alone in your struggles. Because alone in your struggles just means stuck in your struggles. That's all it means. You got to reach out. You got to find those friends. You may need to take the initiative and find those people, other pastors from another church, something, anything. Start it with an accountability relationship. It just starts off shallow. And over time, as you get to know each other, take risks and go deeper. But man, without that, you're going to lose hope. You're going to lose hope in the power of God in your own life, which will translate to the ministry you have. If you can't fake hope. You can look cheerful, but you can't fake hope. And that well will run dry. And you've seen it. You've seen it in the people in your ministry. You've seen it in others. And you don't have some sort of Iron Man exemption. It's something that affects everybody. And you're not more than human. The power of God through you is incredible, and He can work through you in amazing ways. But He can work through the broken, because He does all the time. And keeping up the appearance of not being broken just does not work. God's power is not there. And when you think you can solve something on your own, that's going to translate to your ability to think you can do your ministry on your own. Those are inseparable. And the right language won't fix the wrong action. So I just want to encourage all you guys that are on my blog tonight. It really touched me because it's something that all of us deal with, and I've dealt with, and all of us struggle with that feeling of trying to pull ourselves together and carry this burden of we can do it on our own. And I'm going to let you know you can't. God didn't make it that way. All of us fail. All of us break. All of us need God's healing. God's power does work in all of us. But only when we let it. Only when we're getting ready to get rid of our pride, even the pride of a pastor, to be able to do it all. You can't. You got to have community around you. You need people cheering you on who believe in you. And you may need to initiate that if you've gotten to a situation where your pride is trying to keep you a one-person island. So my prayer is for you guys that if you are dealing with this, man, find somebody close. Find somebody you can trust in, a colleague, maybe someone that's different. Use something like Skype or something, and someone that's not even in your same geography that you feel like you can extend yourself a little bit to and take that risk and have that conversation. Maybe it's a counselor, and you just need to get it out so you can get perspective on where you're at. Because keeping it in, man, Craig Rochelle said one time, and I love the illustration, that when you've lived with it so long, it's like being in a theater when you're watching a movie and there's darkness all around you. And you watch the movie and your eyes adjust. And when you come out of the theater and it's daylight, you go out, man, you're blinking and you're squinting and you're like, man, I didn't realize it was so dark in there. And when you've been living with that struggle for so long, man, your eyes have adjusted. Your heart's adjusted. You think it's something everybody deals with. You think it's something that every pastor has to struggle with. You think it's normal. And it is normal to struggle. It is normal to be broken. But it's not normal to keep it in. God designed us to confess and be in community with each other and to need that interaction. And don't let your eyes adjust to the wrong things. Step into that light. It's going to hurt your eyes. People are going to be people, but it's worth it to not lose your joy, to not lose your hope, and to be about the power of God in your life. His power is big enough for your life, just like it is for the rest of the people that you invest in every day. So my prayer and encouragement for you is just to pray through that. I don't expect a video from a dude that you see on the site to fix that. But that's just my heart, because I had that experience tonight praying for this pastor. And man, pray about that. Take that step, because the longer you keep it in, the longer your eyes adjust. And the more likely you are to have that be part of, if nothing else, the legacy you know you've left. And part of that legacy is one of not trusting God to be powerful enough to move in your own life. You've got to reach out and do that, and in the way that God sees fit. And so I pray about it. Act this week. Find someone to talk to. Reach out to somebody and start that process. And let yourself be yourself in the midst of that. And there will be consequences with all of it. There'll be pain. There'll be hurt. There'll be tears. But it'll be a healing process instead of the swallowing process you've had and trying to swallow it back down. So that's my encouragement for you guys as you see that, to step out and do that. And just want you guys to know that you're not alone. If you need someone to confess to and talk to and you got nobody else, man, contact me through the contact area on my blog. Sometimes the internet allows you to be more transparent, and if you need someone to talk to get out of it, man, if I don't know somebody, if I'm not the person, I know the people that can help with that process. I'm not claiming to be a pastor that knows how to do that stuff, great. But I know people who can step in and help with that. But it's so important that you start to trust God in the midst of your struggle. Trust God in the midst of your pain and trust His power in the midst of that.